Alright, I'm playing a $1 heads up match on full tilt against someone I know in real life who's pretty good at poker, so I expect this to be quite a tough match even though we're playing $1. I don't think he wants to lose at all, so yeah, we're gonna hopefully win this and rub it in his face. So I got 10-9 here, and we're obviously going to raise because we're like a billion big blinds deep. I think it's just over 125. So we want to build pots with hands like this and just try and take some, and just in general build pots when we've got good hands and bad hands, and try and sell bluffs and make nuts and win hands. Okay. He's probably talking about how I'm a bad player and such, which is nice. We got Queen 4 here, even though it does crush his range. We're playing so deep that we don't want to put a billion big blinds in the middle with it, and right now I just rather play hands that we can do a lot of damage with, especially in position where we can do things. He's going to be raising most hands, so I'm going to start 3-betting him soon, but not right now. I'm going to let him take a few pots first. We have King 5. This hand's a bit stronger than my usual, so I'm going to raise because the King High is just so strong. I'm beating his range. I also expect him to start 3-betting me very soon. In fact, if he started 3-betting me this hand, I might be inclined to 4-bet bluff him, but it looks like we got to the flop cheap. Well, cheaper than I expected. But the fact that he just called probably says he's got a piece of this. So I'm not really going to put any more money in this unless I get a draw on the turn. So we're going to take a few seconds and check this back, I think. Turn comes an 8, which I'm interested to see what he does on this, because if he had a piece, this is where he starts building the pot. But he also knows that, so it might be a good time for a bluff for him. So let's see what he does. He bets 75, which is actually quite big. I'm inclined to think that this isn't a bluff. I think he might bet a little smaller if he had a bluff, and he'd bet around this if he had a big, well, not a big hand or a draw or a pair, just trying to get paid off. So I'm just going to fold, because maybe he was bluffing, but it just didn't seem right to me. Raised 40, got 10-5. I'm just going to fold, let him have it. We're a billion big blinds deep, I don't need that 20. We get 5-3. I'm actually just going to raise most buttons now, because I folded a couple and it makes me seem like I can fold, and I'm folding my bad hands, or at least I'm folding some hands and I'm not raising every button. So I'm going to raise this one. Goes to 45. Maybe you'll call, maybe you'll raise, maybe you'll fold. If he raises, I'll probably just flat him. See what comes. I might 4-bet. We make a pair of 5s on the flop, second pair, no kicker. We'll see what he does here. If he had a king, I'd expect him to lead out here. Just for some reason, I don't think he check raises it, because that blows us off the king. I don't really think betting this is all that right, because if he had something like flush draw, which is on the top end of his range, I think he'd be calling it any bet we make, and then we'd have really tough streets when like a 6 or 7 or anything came off, and we'd still have the best hand anyway. Turn comes a 6, which I think we should be okay with. We'll see what he does. We might bet this because there's only one more card to come, and I don't think that the queen jacks in the world will be just floating. And it gets to us, and we're going to make a little bet. we'll go 45. Exactly half pot, exactly what we've put in the pot already. I think we probably have the best hand here, so we'll see what goes on. I'd imagine a king here would just call and then lead out the river. So it comes an 8, which is actually genuinely a scary card for us. Lots of middling cards have been just in people's ranges when they're calling from the big blind and checking and calling, and I think I'm just going to check this back and hope I can take it down, but the 8 is really worrying to me, so I'm just going to check. And we took it down. We'll see what he had. Hope that doesn't crash my computer. He has ace 3 for ace high. This says to me that he's willing to call us down on such a coordinated board with just ace high, no kicker. So we're getting called pretty light in that spot, which is nice. It's nice that we're getting absolutely no respect, because that means we can get a bit of value on our hands. We got 7-9. I like to raise this because it's a pretty hand and we can make some nut hands with it, some straights, some 2 pairs, and get fold. We're blinds are up, by the way, and that means we're about 100 big blinds each. That's still a boatload. We've still got about 1 trillion years worth of play to go, but unless we both get aces and it all gets in and then 4 dimes come down and I win, we get raised. I don't really feel like 3-betting this because it essentially turns our hand into a bluff, and I like the strength of our hand compared to his raising range, so we're just going to call, and we make a king with backdoor spades, but there's an ace on there. If he had an ace here, I'd expect him to probably check back, so let's see what happens. I think if he had an ace and he let out the flop, then I don't think he's getting 3 streets of value from me with my range, unless I've got exactly a flush draw. Okay, he checks and we make 2 pair, which is absolutely awesome. If he has the ace like we suspected on the flop, then, because we said if he checks back he's probably got the ace, then we've got the best hand unless we've got cooler. So I'm going to bet 3/4 the pot, and hopefully we can get paid off by the ace here. There's a couple of draws out there. There's the Queen Jack. Well, the Queen Jack's already there, but you've got your spades and oh, he's gone into time. You've got your random jacks and queens, which have draws at the moment, and he folds. Maybe he didn't have an ace. Maybe he did have the ace and thought that us leading out was quite strong, which I think it was. But if you've got an ace there, my strength versus your strength, your ace should be okay a lot of the time. But yeah, we'll see. We got 4-6 suited, and I really like 4-6 suited because it's pretty and can make some nut hands, and it's what we're looking for when we're this deep stacked, some nut hands. Alright, 9-5, maybe we can get a walk. He insta raises. I'd probably say that his hand is around about ours, like in the strength category. Let's just call and see what comes off. Oh, I thought that was a lot better than it was. No, we pretty much got nothing here. Just backdoor, straight and flush possibilities, which isn't really that good. I'd expect if he had a pair here to bet up because there's a lot of draws. My range, lots of baby cards and suited cards. I also think he might barrel with total nothings to try and get us to call with our draws and then fold us out on the river with a small bet. Yeah, I'd imagine he has a pair here. If he doesn't, then he's probably got the best hand anyway, and would just be essentially bluffing with anything else. So I'm just going to fold and go to the next hand. Got deuce queen. I'm just going to fold because this hand sucks ass. We're exactly even again. He raised to 60. he's starting to raise almost every single button now. I'm going to start 3-betting at some point, but this hand is strong enough in its own right, so I'm just going to call and see what comes off, and we make an open-ended straight draw. Jacks are kind of scary because jacks are well in his range, but to have a jack here would be quite hard for him because it's hard to make trips. And we've got a nice draw, so if he c-bets we're going to be calling and seeing what the turn brings. And he c-bets, we're definitely going to call. I don't think raising is good, because if he has flush draws we can get the pot really big and it's not good. But if we just call down 3 streets when we've got our straight, if we make it, then it won't cost anywhere near as much. King comes, which isn't the best card in the world for us, but it puts 2 flush draws out there, so if he was barreling with 2 spades on the flop and now he's caught the king for 2 spades, he's probably going to barrel again. Or we might just get a free card, which is nice if he doesn't have that. But we'll see what happens here. We get bet. Bet sizing is usually a tell. I think I'm going to fold this hand because that just screams strong. Although it might not have been, I just don't think that bet on the turn was weak. I think it was strong. Maybe he had draws, maybe he just had the 8 and we were drawing to okay stuff, but I just did not like the way the hand was going, and it just seemed right to fold, even though we have a straight draw and most people would just snap call there at least, or maybe even raise. And we make top pair on a very draw heavy flop. You've got your 8-9s, you've got your queen jacks, you've got your hearts, and you've even got your backdoor draws, so I'm going to bet this. Make them pay for anything that they take. So wait a little while and then we'll bet 75, half the pot. We'll see what happens. This is the type of board where we can get into a lot of trouble or we can win a lot of money, depending on how the cards fall, because a lot of draws here and we can get raised and we can call with just one pair and be ahead by about 40%, 60%, sorry. They'll have the 40% edge, and it's always good to take that type of percentage when you're playing poker, because it's all about the money. We've got 4-10 suited here. If he raises, I think I'm just going to fold, but we get a walk anyway, which is lovely. 4 queen, we're just going to fold. We got a billion big blinds. Blinds are actually up now, so we've got less than what we had before. And he folds when we got aces, which is just lovely. We got ace-8, which is actually the first value hand we've really had. The other hands have been just generally drawing hands, maybe our king-high hands, which usually aren't played for value, but we've got a very good value hand here. It should be beating most of his range. We get called and it comes down nothing for us. It's a couple of backdoor draws, but nothing else really. I think we'll take the free card here because these 2 cards hit a lot of the big blinds range, and the queen, we'd never get him to fold a queen, and there's a lot of draws, so we're just going to check and see what happens. See what the turn brings, and it comes a 10. This card hits a lot of his range also. Decent, like, random 10s that he checked in the big blind, and there's also your jack 9s, just the random ones that are there. So I'm just going to check this back as well, and because a lot of people think if they miss their draws they've got to barrel the river because they've missed their draws and they've got to find another way to win that money in the middle. In fact, I think he would probably barrel with a draw, so I don't think we can put him on a draw now, but we can put him on absolutely nothing and see if we can get him to barrel. I think he'd barrel a lot of rivers with bluffs, so we'll have to see his bet sizing before we do anything like that. But we'll see. And he gets checked to us. We probably have the best hand. I don't think we'd be folding out a 3 or a 5 if we bet. And I don't think we can get value from a worse hand. So we're just going to check here and hope that he didn't like have a 5 or a 3, but I don't think he does. Yeah. Look, what do you have? He had ace 4. Maybe we could have got a little bit of value off on the river, but that would have been about as thin as it gets. About as thin as it gets. Alright, we're going to raise here because we haven't done it yet. And we're about in line for it. So, going to go to 260. 3-bet with our 10-9. And hope that we get a fold or we get a call and we make a really good hand on the flop. Blinds are 24, so we've got about, well, and we win a hand, that's pretty good. But like I was saying, we've got a fair few big blinds, we've got about 80. So we have ace king. I think we're going to bet. I think this is a good spot to raise because ace king is a pretty strong hand. Be good if you had ace queen here. Maybe we could get a call and then an ace come down. Okay, we flop. It's not as bad as it looks, but I don't see that checking would be a good spot here because there's so much that misses him, and he has been calling every single flop, but we also have backdoor draws, so I'm just going to bet. If the ace comes down, it's very disguised because a lot of people just don't give respect to the random ace that comes down when someone double barrels into it. I sure don't. We get a call and we now have a gut shot to Broadway, but there are 2 draws out there, which is quite worrying. So we get checked 2 again. We could have been called by an ace high. It's very likely with just the texture of that board. But it's also just as likely that he had a pair. And I don't think we're getting him off a jack. And the 3 or the 4 I don't think so either. So we're just going to check, hope for a 10. So it comes a jack, which improves our hand strength, kind of. Nothing changed except for the flush getting there, and I think the flush bets at some points. All of these have been check called or check checked. He is out of position, so maybe he was going for a check raise on the turn, but we'll see what happens. We would prefer a check. We get checked 2. We could try and bluff this to see if we can get 3 or 4 to fold. We could even like bet this to try and get a smaller ace to call, but I think it's better to just check here because, well, I just think it's better to check here. Okay, he had a 4. I don't think we were getting him to fold at all there. Yep, we have queen 10. Blinds have just gone up and we're getting shallower and shallower as we go. So we're just going to call here and peel off the flop. So we have a pretty strong hand as far as heads up goes. It comes total blanks. I might lead into this because I haven't led into anything before, and it looks mega strong. It really does. It looks so strong. So I might even triple barrel this. We'll see how fast he calls, how slow he calls, see if he clicks time, see if he's explaining things, and hopefully we can just win this pot without any more contesting it. We get called and it comes a jack on the turn, which is pretty much one of the best cards we can get other than a queen or a 10, because we can barrel this again. So I'm going to lead into it for 300, which is a huge bet, and it makes it look like we're trying to get a lot of value from our hand. So I'm going to just barrel this and hope for no call or a 9, queen or 10 on the river. He's clicked time. He's probably talking about something or thinking about it. We got called pretty quickly on the flop. It's gone to time. Excellent, and we win. Suck those eggs. We have 4-7. Actually, I feel really good about that hand. I think that was played pretty damn well. I'm going to just raise this to 100. We're getting pretty shallow now because the blinds are up. I don't particularly like this. We get raised. I do really prefer 3-betting here with this hand because we could easily get caught by an ace-10 or ace-jack. Ace-king would maybe even raise us and we could maybe get away from it, but I think raising here is 275 is a good spot to be in. And he's thinking, and we get a call, and we make a gut shot to the nuts. I think checking here and seeing what he does is the best idea. I do like leading into these types of things when I have a draw like this, but not on this type of board, because a king is very much in his range and we're never going to get to fold. So we just check and see what happens, see if he bets into us. We get insta bet into 300. I actually think this is a made hand. I think this is kings or even tens, but I really don't think we're winning, so we're just going to fold. If he had a draw, then well done to him. I will suck those eggs. We have 3-4 now. We're going to raise because we've just been nuisance raising a lot, and it's probably a good idea to keep doing it until we see some resistance. Okay, we have the baby 7-8 in the big blind, and we're getting a few folds from him now. He's kind of, yeah. Let's see. We have king jack. We're probably going to just do the normal raise here, which is always good. We haven't seen 1-3 bet from our friend Golden Boy yet. And this is the first 3 bet we've seen. It's probably a bigger hand than ours, but we can hit a few hands. He could have something like ace queen and we could draw out on him, maybe get some value. So I'm definitely not folding to 1 bet. And we make kings on the flop, which is a very nice hand. The board isn't particularly draw heavy, especially since he 3-bet. I'm definitely not folding to 1 bet. And we have the jack of hearts just in case. I'm not going to raise here because we're essentially turning a hand into a bluff if we do that. So I'm just going to call. And a queen comes on the turn. This makes ace queen a pair, it makes king queen 2 pair. We were already beat by king queen. I also don't think he re-raises with king queen. For some reason it just seems so so out of the ordinary for him. He could have aces, he could have 2 aces. He bets 600, which is pretty strong. I think he has something, but our hand is just too strong to fold. Heads up, and especially the way that the actions come down. 2 bets into me, it screams that that he knows that we have a king. So, and a 7 of blank comes on the river, and we'll see what he does. All in would not be too good, but we'll see how long it takes. See if he clicks time. See if he does it straight away. It's taking a while, he's probably talking about it. That is a good card to bluff on, it sure is. Alright, we'll take a bit of time on this, we'll go through everything. That was the first 3 bet. I don't think he 3-bets with king queen. Maybe ace king 3-bets a lot actually. Barrels all 3 streets, but also total bluff does. We're probably going to call this just because there's a lot of draws out there. There's the 10 jack of hearts, so we're just going to call. And he has king queen, which I didn't think he'd raise with. Looks like this is it, so we're not folding this obviously, so that's cool. And it looks like we're done. Okay, that was fun. Balance tables. Okay, that was pretty fun. Bye.